Good afternoon, everybody. How's everyone doing today?
Good.
Glad to hear it. My name is Andrew. Back there is Trevor. We'll show you the proper way to clean, load, prime, and of course fire the cannon before you. Now this is a Model 1841 6-pound field gun. Long technical name, but it does tell you a lot about our cannon. It is a field gun because it's mounted on these huge wheels, easily maneuvered around a battle field. Makes sense? It's a Model 1841 because that was the year it was first designed and approved for service in the U.S. Army. Now, a lot of these Model 1841s were made in the 1860s during the American Civil War. If they were still made to those specifications, they'd still be called Model 1841s. So even though ours was made in about 2011, it is still technically a Model 1841. Now, the most important part of the name is that this is a 6-pound cannon. Designed to fire a cannonball that weighs how much?
6 pounds.
6 pounds, exactly right. Now, with 20 ounces of gunpowder, the full cannon charge, we can launch that 6-pound ball up to a maximum range of about 1 mile. So you see Round Island out there, about a mile away. We could conceivably reach Round Island. Now, we brought the best cannon crew in the world up here and had them shoot at that mile range. The smallest target they could reliably hit is about the size of Round Island. It is really not the most accurate cannon. It's still a smoothbore gun. There's no rifling inside the barrel, no spiral grooves to put any spin on the cannonball to stabilize its flight. So even at half a mile, the so-called accurate range, to the end of the breakwall in the harbor where those Shepherd boats are going to be turning, if we had one of those boats stop and turn sideways at half a mile, again, the best cannon crew in the world could hit that stationary target about 1 in 3 shots. Even then, not the most accurate gun. But that was on par with most cannons available in the 1840s. That was not bad. And they fire in what are called batteries. So at least 3 or 4 cannons firing all at once to kind of mitigate some of the inaccuracy. Now the problem is, me and Trevor are dressed as soldiers of the 1880s. And in that 40-year span, there had been some huge advances in cannon technology that made a cannon like this, frankly, rather obsolete. They had rifle artillery that could fire several miles accurately, but Fort Mackinac never got those newer pieces of artillery because we did not need them. The last time this island had seen any combat had been back in 1814 during the War of 1812. So not only by the 1880s had it been 70 years of peace up here, beginning in 1875, we were actually acting as the headquarters for Mackinac Island National Park. Only the second national park in the country. And well, have you ever heard about a national park getting attacked? No, typically that does not happen. So when the Army was deciding what forts were getting the newer, more modern, more expensive pieces of artillery, they were giving them to the forts that they felt like really might need them. Fort Mackinac was very low on the priority list, but we did still need cannons up here. But these 1840s cannons worked just fine for our purposes, which is purely for salute purposes. Now, every single day, at least twice a day, we fired 2 cannon salutes. When we raise the flag in the morning and when we lower the flags in the evening. We'd also fire on other occasions as well, things like national holidays. The 4th of July, or, well, what's one coming up tomorrow? Memorial Day. Was it, as it was known in the 1880s, Decoration Day. We fire salutes on occasions like that. So, but also, as a national park, we had a lot of important visitors. Military officials, government officials, we fire salutes to welcome them to the island as well. But also tourists were such a big part of Fort Mackinac and Mackinac Island in general that we have at least one recorded occasion where the soldiers of Fort Mackinac fired a cannon salute just for the first boat of tourists that came by come the first thaw of spring. So that's a tradition that we love to continue today. We're going to fire a cannon salute just to welcome all of you folks here today. Does that sound all right?
Yeah.
Great. Now, one of these cannon salutes is actually a pretty simple process. I'll step back here and put this leather patch on my thumb, use it to cover the touch hole back here, make sure that no air is getting through the barrel, nothing's being stoked up while Trevor works at the front of the gun. This first cleaning tool called an auger or gunner's worm designed to scrape out any debris inside the barrel. That debris can pose us 2 problems. It can clog the cannon up, prevent us from loading the gunpowder down to the touch hole that I'm covering, because that's where we have to access and ignite the powder from later on. That debris can also still be on fire. Historically, they'd wrap their gunpowder in cloth bags. That can burn for quite some time. So we want to try to extract any debris that might be on fire. Or failing that, we have the next tool called the wet swab, designed to extinguish any flame. Trevor will dunk that into a bucket of water here. And now, obviously, the water in the sponge, that's going to help extinguish flame. That's pretty obvious. But what you might not realize is that with my thumb covering the only other hole in the barrel and the width of the swab, Trevor is actually able to force out all the air. So when he pulls it out, heard that little thunk, that's air rushing back into the barrel. For that brief moment, we created a vacuum. So with no air, there was no oxygen, which means that no flame can burn. So we feel very safe to load the gunpowder. Now we're using a pretty small charge of only about 4 ounces of gunpowder. Again, to actually launch a cannonball, you'd be using 20 ounces, even though salutes back in the 1880s would be using 10 ounces. But for our purposes today, 4 ounces is just fine. That ramrod designed to force the gunpowder down to the touch hole that I'm covering, again, so we can access and ignite it.
Don't worry.
Now, that bend in the ramrod, that curve, is slightly historically inaccurate. That was a French design that the Americans up here at Fort Mackinac never adopted. They'd be using a straight ramrod. It's a little bit safer with the curve, and on kind of a personal note, the last soldier killed here at Fort Mackinac firing a cannon salute. It was on the 4th of July of 1870. He was loading the cannon, it went off prematurely, got struck by the ramrod, knocked over the wall here. Well, I actually share a name with him. His name was Andrew Simonson, so I like to be as safe as possible up here. I hope you can understand that. With that said, Trevor's taking a brass spike to rip open the wrapping around the gunpowder, just exposing the powder inside to our ignition device, which is one of these. It's called a friction primer. It's a small brass tube of gunpowder, and it's got a pin on the top. What do you do with the pin?
Pull it out.
You pull it, exactly right. That pin is seated in a chemical called fulminates of mercury. Some of you'll find on a match head, even still to this day. So pulling pins like striking a match. It flares up, ignites the powder in the tube, and that sends a jet of flame down onto the main charge, setting off our cannon. That said, you can see that Trevor has us all hooked up. This is a good time to cover your ears, folks. It will be quite loud. Now, there are only 2 commands to fire this cannon, and they are ready. Fire! There's your cannon salute to walk you to Fort Mackinac.